This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 378.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. We have the technology. Why, hello everybody, this is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. We have one that starts today. This episode drops on May 24th. It is WordSesh. It is a free conference. It's over at wordsesh.com, WordSesh.com. It goes from May 24th to 27th, and then actually there's some workshops from the 27th through June 4th. So check that out over there. And WP Sessions is presenting that, by the way. So check that out. And yeah, pretty cool stuff. No WordCamps coming up, unfortunately, not until June, I believe. Yeah, next one's going to be June. Yeah, moving on from there. Okay, moving on. In the news, two things to talk about here. One is that Brian Krogsgard is leaving Post Status. He has sold his shares of the company to Corey Miller. Corey Miller, if you recall, sold his iThemes to Liquid Web a year or two ago, and then joined Brian. And now Brian is moving on. He's kind of stepping away from the day-to-day runnings and stuff, so he's going to do some other personal projects and interests. So congratulations to them both. Also in the news, just FYI, WordPress 5.8 is on schedule to be released in July. So about 2 months to go for WordPress 5.8. So I feel like we just got 5.7, but 5.8 is around the corner. All right. What else? That's it. Yeah, that's it in the news. Moving on to segment 2, the meat and potatoes. This week is P2 Reimagined. So recently, I heard Matt Mullenweg on a podcast talking about internal communications and the tools they use at his company at Automatic and WordPress.com. And of course, P2 came up. And I was thinking, I thought I might have talked about it in the past, but I couldn't find any record of it in the podcast catalog of mine for 7 years now. So I'm talking about it today. Simple. And I also recall setting up a P2 site for my first ever mastermind from 8.5 years ago, before the podcast even existed. And because I thought it'd be a great way to have conversations back in the day. Again, this is before Slack. And eventually, though, we did move to Facebook private groups. I don't know why we switched. I don't recall that at all. But anyway, what is P2? Well, it's defined first and foremost as a website from the website as a way to organize all your files, projects, and conversations on one screen so your team can collaborate from anywhere. So that's kind of the general gist of it. You can add a document, you can embed images, you can have app mentions. It's kind of just a kind of like, I don't know, what's the best way to describe it? In real-time conversation, front-end commenting type of system, I guess. Okay, so that's how I would kind of word it in a roundabout way. All right, so during my research for this week's episode, I did find some differences since 8 years ago. The landscape has changed a lot. First and foremost, WordPress.com now offers a free P2 instance, so you don't have to install it on your own self-hosted domain. And so that's new, but we'll get to that in a second. First and foremost, I did install it on my dev site, and I was going fairly well, I thought, but then I got an error from a PHP issue. So I did some Googling, and it is a PHP issue, it turns out. It's 7.3.28 is what I'm running now. Apparently, it conflicts with something. 7.2 fixed it, sort of, because it was working for a second, and then it wasn't. It wasn't updating the posts. They would disappear. So doing some more digging, it looks like P2 self-hosted isn't current, meaning there's been no updates since February 18th, 2016. So it's been 5 years. So with that, I headed back over to WordPress.com/P2. I clicked Start Now. I entered a team name and a site address, and you get a spun up real quick site under WordPress.com. So it's a subdomain, kind of like, let's see, adamsp2.wordpress.com or something. And from there you get, hi Adam, welcome to your P2, get started. And yeah, it's obvious that it's a WordPress.com site, the W in the top left corner, my gravatar is there. So from there, I just started poking around and using it. How does it look? And how does it work? Well, it looks and works exactly as expected within WordPress. It's updated, it looks good, it's clean, it's very modern. Of course, the block editor is there, so you can add content via the block editor up on the very top area. If there's already a post in place, you can, if someone's already posted something or shared something, you can comment on it by reply. You can subscribe to that post to get updates about that as well. Pretty cool. And, it's really simple just to add content across the board. I mean, that's what P2 is for fast, interactive content adding without going to the dashboard, without going to a post editor, a page editor, any of that sort of thing. And if you back out a few steps here, I also wanted to head over to settings to see about inviting users, which I can give them different permissions, administrator, author, editor, subscriber, etc. I did that a few times. I tested it with some other email addresses I have. And I was off and running, adding to new posts. Like I said, replying to posts. I can tag other people. I can add tags so that way I can find things faster in the future. And like I said, you can also subscribe to certain conversations to get those updates as well. And they come in real time. They come via email. It's pretty neat. So now the thought of why would you want to use a P2 instance? Well, it's huge for collaboration, especially in these days of asynchronous collaboration, with people being stuck at home still to some extent. We're coming out of that, but it's still really good to have that for asynchronous information. There's a bunch of people using it in education, nonprofits, and training, I found out. And I'm also thinking it could be a possible good use for our company, let's say, as a Slack addition, or I don't know if it's a replacement, because not to diss Slack, but if I want the pro features, if I want to keep all conversations, it gets really expensive at scale. And I think it's like 10,000 messages. And after that, they just kind of start going away. So you could have it keep all your messages at this. I'm not sure what the limitations are right now over at WordPress.com, but I imagine it's there's that free level, which would work for a while. So, looking for a rather way to simplify our communications channel for free, I'm going to look at this again. I would like to see an updated version come out for self-hosted, personally. I would really like to see that. I'm not sure why that hasn't happened. Maybe somebody automatic knows and can let me know. But check it out. If you're looking for a relatively simple way to spin up a ongoing threaded multi-level purposed blog, if you will, website that can have these conversations, go check out, WordPress.com/P2 and tell me what you think. Or if you're using it, I would love to see what you're using it for and how you're using it in any unique, special way. So there you go. Just a quick little overview of P2 and some other options there for communications with teams or businesses or for your business, etc. So check it out. All right, moving on. Segment 3, tip and tool of the week. This week's tip, it's a plugin. It's over at it's in the repo. It's called Echo Knowledge Base, and I'm using this because I have a strong interest and desire to gather all the things that my company does. It needs to remember the processes, serial numbers, licenses for software, how we do certain things, launching, and I want to put them in a knowledge base. So after seeing my friend Tara and Jesse both do this, and they use this plugin for it, I'm sold. And I say sold because actually, as far as I can tell, this plugin's free for what I'll need. There's a link in the show notes if you want to have a knowledge base of all your content. And actually, I believe both of them, Tara and Jesse, both did it as a subdomain within their own domain. So that way it's a separate instance and it's just kind of easier to maintain that way. So pretty cool. Check it out. Link in the show notes. I'm planning on working on that this next quarter, probably next month for the business. I have been gathering all the information. Now it's a matter of just putting it into a site and giving access to the team. So there you have it. Let me wrap it up here. If you have any questions, go ahead, send it in via email, adam@KitchensinkWP.com, or use the SpeakPipe function of the website. If you want to support the show, become a Patreon. That'd be awesome. You can sponsor the show as well. Form on the website. If you're looking for some small business coaching and accountability, adamsilver.com. Thanks for listening. See you next week. And now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right? Bye-bye.